Sign up today for a 7-day free trial at alerts.chartguys.com. Hey everyone, checking in on the cryptocurrency space. We're going to look at our usual suspects as well as some altcoins that members have voted on. We'll look at NEO, EOS, BNB, Link, XRP, ADA, and XLM. Congrats to the bulls. They're keeping it up. So we certainly want to be cautious, and you want to have a game plan. Are you looking to lock in profit and reload daily consolidation? Are you looking to hold long term? Again, that's a theme that we echo every single video, because the last thing you want to be doing is making game time decisions in the heat of the moment, because we get a lot of volatility, as we're about to look at in the short-term action. But after we've seen this kind of a move and we start seeing upper wicks, definitely want to be prepared for when we do top out and have to form a daily higher low. We're looking down at 89.19, and in a previous video I said that that's not really a clear higher low for me because it was so brief, but now that we have extended so far above it and there's no level nearby, it's definitely an important level for me, because without that, if we did not consider that a higher low, we're pretty much looking all the way back down in the 7,000s, and at this point, we can use this as a gauge of strength and say if the daily bulls hold 89.19, they're staying strong and they're keeping the uptrend, and we also have the exponential 12-period support as a bit of a visual guide as well. So zooming in a bit, we just saw a continuation and then a quick bear attack. And with every bear attack, the question is, how do the bulls respond? And at this point, they're holding their own, but again, it has me cautious. The 4-hour uptrend for Bitcoin has been intact since 89.19, that low. And our last higher low was 10,490. And the bulls are trying to hold that level and hold the 4-hour exponential support to keep their control. It's looking a lot like the candlestick just yesterday. And if we look at the action of yesterday's candlestick, we hit the top, we dumped, we saw oversold conditions on the 5 and 15-minute time frame, bounced for a lower high, pulled back for a higher low, lower high, higher low, long drawn-out equilibrium. I anticipated that that would break probably about 6 or 7 hours before it ended up breaking, as this consolidation took longer than I thought it would. Ended up making a day trade right after the video I put out last, and that was at play, anticipating an hourly higher low would form, and I entered on this candlestick, setting scale-in orders between 10,500 and 10,400 with 10,321 as my stop. Part of my orders filled, a bounce got underway, I canceled the rest of my orders, and I kept my stop loss. And then we dropped down, I did not get stopped out, and then anticipating the hourly lower high, I exited in the 10,700s. Just a little bit of a day trade to continue tacking on gains while holding a swing position and holding a long-term position. So at this point, I'm breaking up my capital into different things. The long-term no-touch positions, the swing trading positions. I've been in ETH for maybe 6 days at this point. I did just stop out of LTC, but I was holding that for multiple days. And then just the day trade scalp and keeping capital around to capitalize on these opportunities is the style that I have been enjoying most and finding success with in the cryptocurrency space. So we did see the equilibrium break bullish on the hourly, and we went back up to 11,216, and we broke it, hardly broke it. We broke it by 60-something dollars, and then look at this bear attack on the 5-minute time frame, a straight up dump of $400, $500 in less than 10 minutes. That's notable. Then we had a descending triangle with a double bottom of support and a clear lower high pattern. We broke support and have not seen any follow through. So the bulls are hoping that this is just a healthy hourly higher low forming, holding those exponential moving averages. And that's entirely possible. I'm keeping my stop loss on ETH loose enough to give these bulls a chance to recover from here. But I will stop out of ETH if we lose 4-hour uptrends, because I want to lock in these gains from this past weekend, start with a nice fresh clean slate, and then look towards daily consolidation if the 4-hour uptrends are lost. For the bulls to make a statement here, we need to break this 5-minute lower high pattern. So I'm looking at the most important resistance short term of 10,920, and if that were to break, the 5-minute lower highs would break after a break of a double bottom support where the bears did not get any follow through. So ETH has had some odd action, and I posted about this on Twitter. We'll look at it after we do our regular analysis. Bearish reversal candlestick on the daily time frame. These candlesticks just rolled over. So looking at Bitcoin's daily candlestick, right in the middle of the range of yesterday, which was technically today here in the US. But for ETH, if we drop down and break 304.60, daily consolidation will be underway. That's our 4-hour higher low. And you can see we're just slowing down a bit And if we lose the 4-hour high or low pattern, we zoom out to the daily, and anything above 261 is a daily high or low. So close to getting stopped out and close to being back to all cash for the first time in pretty much a week. And then we'll take it from there. 4-hour time frame, higher low pattern. 5-minute time frame, very similar to Bitcoin. We did drop to a lower low. Actually, we double bottoms at 305. So that's a key short-term level. Clear 5-minute lower highs have to break for the bulls to try and shift any kind of short-term momentum. So the action that we're talking about, that I was posting about on Twitter and that members did a great job of pointing out and seizing the opportunity, look at this action. And you look on the 5-minute time frame and you say, okay, huge volume spike and big lower wicks. What in the world is going on here? And the bottom line is, I don't know, but I have a pretty good idea as far as what the most likely scenario of what was going on as far as speculating potential causes of that price action. So I'm going to the 1-minute time frame. It's going to take me a bit to find it here, scrolling back to yesterday's action. And again, it just looks so odd that this is happening. So the key points, when you see this happening, number one, you say, okay, this is unusual. I don't know what's going on. Something's different. You look at other exchanges. Okay, this is only going on with Coinbase. What in the world is this? The volume, the average volume on the 5-minute time frame before this started and then into when it started, the average volume for the 20 period 5-minute time frame spiked 500 to 1,000%. Very notable spike in volume. And my best guess is somebody decided they want all of their Ethereum, or a large amount of Ethereum, I'm talking thousands, transferred into US dollars as fast as possible, and they are willing to give up tens of thousands of dollars, 5 figures, in order to cash out now as opposed to doing it in an orderly fashion. So it's either someone who does not know what they're doing, someone who hacked funds or stole funds and wanted to cash out as soon as possible, or someone drunk. Other people on Twitter suggested it was inside info and FUD might be coming. I thought that was the least likely scenario, and so far nothing's come up. And the reason I thought that is because it was only on one exchange. And if you're seeing it in such an isolated incident, you can pretty much say that's one person doing this. So the odds that only one person is going to be reacting to anticipated FUD does not seem likely to me. So what I feel happened, and it was almost the kind of thing, an analogy that I had in my head is my dad always used to tell the story about his mom threw out his old baseball cards, Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, all that. Just threw them out. And I almost imagined someone's mom finding their Ethereum wallet under their bed amongst some strewn clothes and said, I'm going to get rid of this, and just cashing out thousands of Ethereum on an exchange, having no idea what she was doing, and market selling. So these market sells were going through for thousands. These are 1-minute candlesticks, 2,500, 1.7, 2.6, 2.6. So we're essentially seeing someone, and it was happening so frequently that someone, in my opinion, was market selling 500 to 1,500 ETH, and they did it a dozen times. And there were people in our chat room saying, you know, it's almost like free money. How is this possible? And it is free money. It is someone giving up, like I said, a large amount of US dollars in return for being able to cash out right now. That was their goal. Give me my US dollars right now. And every time they market sold, every single bid that is set gets hit for however amount that goes down. And as soon as that happens, it happens in a flash, and there's no asks at that price. So if we're at 310 and someone market sells to 306, it happens in a flash, in a second. Every single order from 310 to 306 is now gone. And these are arbitrage bots buying that dip. The arbitrage bots are recognizing, okay, we're not seeing this drop on Bitfinex and we're not seeing it on Bitstamp. So if I buy these ETH at 306, they're going for 310 on all these other exchanges. That's an opportunity to scalp small amounts of profit. So every time it would trigger, there would be a large sell order, and then the buy volume was way smaller than the sell volume. And I certainly experienced that firsthand because I tried to play this game. People were just flipping $2 to $4 flips minute after minute after minute, over and over again. And the buying pressure, it took a long time to fill my ask. And I did end up, locking in a solid, very quick gain, but it kept me conservative after seeing how long it took me to scale out. Or it wasn't a scale out, it was one entry and then one exit, but my one exit sat there for a while before it ended up filling. So market sell, significant volume, Small volume pushing the price back up, but able to push the price back up because there's no asks between 306 to 310. So you put a bid at 306.10 and you sell it at 309.10, and you do that over and over and over again. And again, this is an opportunity that does not present itself often, but when you recognize what's going on, you can capitalize on it. So we'll probably never know why that happened, but a cool opportunity and something to learn from. So checking back in now, I think we did Ethereum. So now we'll go and check out Litecoin. Let's see if I'm still in Ethereum at this point, and I am. Have not been stopped out yet, but pretty close. ETHBTC, 4-hour higher low has to form. So we look at the daily time frame, and very clearly, BTC has been stronger than ETH the last week. So the 4-hour chart, lower high, and now the bulls have to hold 27.72. This is the range to be watching. If we break support, we're continuing to drop down. The daily RSI approaching oversold. And if we break bullish and break the 4-hour lower high pattern, we go back to the daily. And the most important resistance is 0.2987. And then there's a lack of resistance after that. But the Ethereum bulls are not showing any strength. Bitcoin is clearly the leader over the last 3 days on this breakout. Someone asked me about ETHE. And this is the new Ethereum, grayscale Ethereum trust traded on the stock market. And you look at the first day of trading and you say, whoa, look at that huge move. That didn't happen. So if you look at the 5-minute time frame, it tells you what happened. So on the 5-minute time frame, let's go to the actual June 21st. Look at the volume. This is the 5-minute chart. We had one trade at 10 a.m. The next trade was at 2:35 p.m. So we went 4 hours and 35 minutes without a trade. That is illiquid, and that tells me don't go anywhere near this instrument. If you are trading, you have to have liquidity. If it does not have liquidity, it's not worth trading. Because the last thing you want to be doing is holding a red position in something that's illiquid and taking a huge loss. So I'll keep an eye on it if volume appears, but certainly, I mean, essentially, let's look at the 1-minute time frame. We can count how many trades happened. And again, June 21st, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades happened in the 6-hour day or whatever it is. Litecoin bears still in control. Well, let me rephrase that. Litecoin still much weaker than Bitcoin. We're still in a daily uptrend. We just broke resistance and got no follow through, and the bulls are really struggling to get it together. So we've got the daily higher low of 133.37. That's the most important level for me. The daily exponential support. If we break that higher low pattern, we will likely lose that level. The 4-hour time frame has been pulling back significantly from 146. And this is a scenario where I've been away from the computer this weekend, and unfortunately I wasn't able to take any profit because that was a significant move up to the 146s, and I had a solid profit on my LTC position. And normally I would have taken some off the table, but because I had to keep my stop losses in and I was not on the computer, I was unable to do so. So I ended up exiting pretty much break even. The 4-hour uptrend has been lost on Litecoin. And I'm not going to give back my Ethereum profits, which have gone well over the past week, to try and hold Litecoin. I can definitely reassess the situation. And if Litecoin bulls show me something, I'll be interested because the daily chart is still strong and the bulls have not been participating much the past 4 days. But you look at LTC, BTC, and we're still very weak. The 4-hour downtrend still intact. We needed to change that 4-hour trend in order to see LTC break out on the daily and try and catch up, and that just didn't happen. So anything under 13.5 is just a lower high. That's the most important resistance level for me. We don't have any clear support. The 4-hour RSI is oversold, and the daily RSI is approaching oversold as we are looking for our weekly higher low to form. Definitely not giving up on this weekly equilibrium, but there's no indication in the short term that that is forming a weekly higher low at this point. So I'm still watching Litecoin, but I am no longer in a position because the last thing I want to do is ride a weak ship in a bull sector environment. So NEO had a huge breakout. NEO was certainly a big bull June 22nd. This is going to screw me up with the days because we just changed over, but that was yesterday. Looking at the weekly time frame, longer term, breaking over 1406, cleared resistance, and then after 1504, we were looking up at 1761, and the bulls went right up to 20. So a notable shift, the bull cross of the weekly exponential moving averages. Everybody that we just looked at did that a while ago. So NEO is playing catch up, and they saw a big time bull move, but we are in consolidation mode. Let's look at it on the hourly time frame where we had our high hit, our low of consolidation, and look at this volatility, 1980 dropped to 1630, go back to 1886, and now we're looking back at 1630 as the most important support. So on the 4-hour time frame, essentially, you can't see it on the 4-hour time frame, but if we went to perhaps the 2-hour chart, again, you always want to look for clarity. There's our equilibrium, and it is favoring the bears with this break just now of 1690. High, low, lower high, higher low formed here. The bulls got no follow through, and now we're heading back down to our low of consolidation, 1630. And at this point, we have pulled back a solid 10% plus from our high, which is why when you see big time, huge spikes, you want to be scaling out at least a partial position because these profits can disappear quickly. So we'll look for a daily higher low to form, daily consolidation clearly underway, and anything above 1326 is a daily higher low, daily exponential support as a guide, but we're still well above that level. EOS USD on Bitfinex. So on a name like EOS, and there's a couple other names that we're going to look at that are still weak comparative to what we've seen in the cryptocurrency space and so many other names, it's a red flag. So yes, we got a bull break, and let's see what percentage is before I start harping on EOS. 727 to 764. It's a red flag. To see a 4% move when names are moving 10, 20, 30% move, it's definitely a bit disheartening for the bulls, and people potentially take their money and put it elsewhere where there's more significant action. So we did break to a daily higher high, but if we look at the weekly time frame, it's a ways off from 865, our recent top. So we're looking for a weekly equilibrium with our high, low, and scouting a lower high. The daily uptrend is still intact. If we lose the daily uptrend, then our weekly lower high will be set. Anything above 664 is a daily higher low. But lose the daily uptrend, zoom out to the weekly, our weekly lower high will be set, and we'll look back at 591 as the most important support level. So tightening weekly range, whereas names like Ethereum and Bitcoin and NEO are breaking out on their weekly time frame. Binance consolidating on the daily and just breaking a daily inside bar, bearish. 3710, if that level breaks, we will lose the 4-hour uptrend. You could argue we've already lost it, but 3710 and 3703, very clear support levels. If those break, we're looking for a daily higher low. I would say anything above 2981 is a daily higher low, so the bulls are not concerned about losing the daily uptrend at this point. Healthy consolidation, and we'll look to see if it's a potential bull flag. If we break 37 and don't get bear follow through, and we're quickly back over 37, that's notable for the potential of a daily bull flag. Changing trends with no follow through, zoom out and look for flags. Link USD. Lots of wicks here. I'm trying to find a time frame that I like for clarity, and I don't see one. Weekly chart, very clear. Higher low is 80 cents. Anything above that keeps the weekly uptrend intact. The daily chart, also still an uptrend. Higher low was 153. Another one at 156. So those are the most important levels of support. Resistance is 205 and 212. And you can see the bulls are struggling to close over $2 on the daily time frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rejections without a close over $2 and a bunch of bounces off the 150s. So essentially $150 to $2 is the range to be watching, and we've been trading within this range for the most part for 11 days, 9 days, one of those numbers. So daily uptrend being lost, and we'll look for weekly consolidation to be underway. 150s key support. We're right in the middle of that range right now. XRP USD, daily consolidation underway. 4-hour uptrend has been lost. Let's see if Bitcoin's breaking down to lower lows yet. And it is. So now the bears are getting followed through. So I'm assuming I've stopped out on ETH, and I have. So I'm back to all cash, and I'm very comfortable being back in all cash. It was a great week. Solid profits locked in, a multiple week maker. And we'll look for hourly oversold conditions now. So Bitcoin getting a bit extreme. 10,490. 10,300s are some key support levels. The 15-minute RSI will be oversold if we head down to those supports. So potentially worth watching for a bounce, but by the time this video uploads, that 15-minute oversold bounce will likely be underway. We'll check back in on Bitcoin once more before we run through another couple names. So XRP, daily time frame, bulls have to form a higher low compared to 4198. And the daily exponential support is approaching. Hourly RSI getting down towards oversold. Clearly a temporary top is set. And the difference in Bitcoin, sorry to jump around again, but the difference in Bitcoin is here, this dump yesterday happened, and the bulls recovered and did not break the low of that 5-minute dump the rest of the consolidation. And here it's completely different because we dumped and now we've broken to lower lows. So we dump, the market can, it gets shaken up and says, whoa, what's going on? And the market calms down and establishes its range. And then to drop to lower lows from there is notably different than the previous times where the bulls have recovered. So I believe that our temporary top is set and daily consolidation is underway, and that may take a couple of days heading into this week. We also have new futures contracts. Everybody's talking about the gaps in the futures to be watching for. There's gaps all over the place depending on, well, not all over the place, but depending on what time frame you're looking at, there's more gaps on the 4-hour chart than there is on the daily chart. But for me, daily consolidation, and I'm going to watch for a higher low using the exponential 12 period as a visual guide. If bulls hold 10,000 on this daily consolidation, they're still extremely strong. ADA USDT, big upper wick of profit taking. The daily chart did break to higher highs, but the timing just wasn't there. Because to break 3 resistance levels, that's a great sign. But to see a big upper wick and now start daily consolidation right after that, just poor timing with Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space now consolidating right after that break took place. 9459 support is approaching. 4-hour uptrend still intact. But if we break that level, it will be lost, and we'll be looking for a daily higher low to form compared to 8507. Weekly chart. So still pretty contained under 10 cents. Again, we've broken just above it a couple times, but no follow through. So it's an ascending triangle on the weekly chart. We can put a resistance line at 10 cents, and we have clear higher lows. If we see a break of 7695, it's a very big red flag on the weekly chart. But if we hold that, we stay in this multiple top and higher low tightening range. XLM USDT, red flag. This is the bull move that we've seen the past few days. Not good. So, tightening range, the weekly chart right now, the most important support, let's look at it on the daily. Most important support is 1168. If that level breaks, you can see it's a triple bottom. The bulls got a break of resistance with no follow through. Again, just poor timing, no bullish pressure. 14 is resistance, and then 1449. Support is 12 and 1168. And we don't have a confirmed daily trend change since we pulled back earlier this week. I don't like the clarity on the daily time frame. Weekly chart, I'd be watching just that low. That low is a very clear support level that must hold. Potential bottom fishing play, if we were to drop down to that level in 4-hour oversold conditions or in hourly oversold conditions, then I'd be keeping an eye out for a play off that support. So let's see how oversold we are on Bitcoin, getting down to 15-minute oversold, approaching our supports, 10,490, 10,300s. I would need at a bare minimum 15-minute RSI oversold if I were going to be scaling in, and it would be a play off of these supports. But for me, it's Sunday night. I've had a great weekend. I don't feel like trading right now. So I'm not going to be making any plays unless I set a very picky parameter. If Bitcoin dumps and the hourly RSI gets oversold tonight, I'll scale in. If it doesn't, I'm going to bed and going to do what I want to do, and we'll wake up and start with a fresh, clean slate tomorrow. So that's definitely a productive's the wrong word, a beneficial mindset to be in as a trader, because that keeps you from forcing things. That being said, that's also because of the cryptocurrency profit in 2017 and 2018 that I've gotten. And if I had not gotten that profit, I would be looking to be more aggressive in this space and take advantage of the opportunity and the volatility. So every single trader is different. I get comments on my YouTube videos all the time of things I should be doing. You don't know what my life is. You don't know what my long-term holdings are. So you can't apply what works for you to someone else. And that's why I will never do that with another technical analyst. If someone's using Fibs or Ichi Clouds or whatever, if it works for them, that's great. what works for me doesn't mean that's the right way that everybody needs to do things. Appreciate you watching. We'll end here with some geese and ducks. A little bit of an upgrade from the phone video yesterday. I've been hanging out with these guys all day today, building some bonds. And I'll see you over the weekend. Hope you have a great Sunday night. Do good things out there. It's a party. It's a bird party.